Hey guys, you remember some time ago I did a video on an Electrolux 65 that I bought from eBay, and I tried to restore it. Things did not go to plan on that particular machine, and then when I put it upstairs in storage, the thing just didn't want to live and it fell over. It fell over on its back, it smashed the handle, and I was like, oh my god, this is just unbelievable. But as luck would have it, and it was a real massive piece of luck as well, I managed to find another 65, and this one has turned out pretty well. So let's check it out. Okay, so let's have a quick look at this one. So this is possibly the earliest 65 I have ever seen. It's even earlier than the other one that I showed you. And here it is. Check it out. Looking pretty good, I have to say. It didn't look this good when I first got it. It was a bit of a mess, and there is still some. It's kind of like staining to the vinyl here. It's not super obvious, but you can see it close up. I've tried to polish it and scrub it, but it just doesn't seem to want to come out. I mean, let's not be too harsh on it. The machine's, what, 60 years old? So it's done pretty well. I mean, it's looking pretty good, I have to say. Do you remember the old one was all smashed up? The back had been all smashed, and yeah, the handle was knackered. It was a mess. And the roundel on the top here was also all smashed up, but this one is in amazingly good nick, and it was £5. That's the best thing about it. It was £5. It was a bit of a drive to go and get it. It was in a little village in Wales called Garnant. Really nice place, actually. So it was from an estate sale. The chap I met, his father-in-law had recently passed away, and the chap and his wife were clearing out the old chap's house, and this was one of the 5 vacuum cleaners that he had there. So why have you got 5 cleaners? And the chap said, oh, the guy he never threw anything out, and I could tell that by the house. It was absolutely full of stuff, absolutely jam-packed full of stuff. And then the 65 was there. It was on the sofa when I walked in. Now, when I originally saw the eBay advert, it was the machine and the hose and the floor tool, and there was some small pictures of it. You couldn't really see much detail about what you were getting in this package, if you like. But luckily the chap put a photograph of the ratings plate on the eBay auction. So it says number 0186324. So to me, that is the 18th week of 1960, which would be, what, January, February, March, April? Yeah, probably April 1960, which is just unbelievably early for a 65. I don't know precisely which month Lux started to make these cleaners, but that is just so early. It's such a wonderful find. And actually the motor inside has what's it written, 2060 written on it, stamped on it rather. So that would kind of make you think that the body was made in the 18th week of 1960 and the motor was made on the 20th week of 1960, which kind of makes sense because they produce lots and lots of bodies and then produce lots and lots of motors and then stick them together to form the completed machine. So yeah, it's just wonderful. A great find. And this one, unlike the other one, has the original hose fitting there, so you can see there's the hose entry with the ball bearing style to it. So not only did I get the cleaner, and most of this was missing from my last one as well, so I'm going to stand it there. Hopefully this one will not hurl itself off the table because the other one seemed intent on killing itself. Oh, there's just one thing. I've never seen this before on a 65, and no other machine have I seen this on that uses the sprung-mounted motor. I talked about the sprung-mounted motor in the previous 65 video. I'm just going to check. Yeah, ZA65. That's right. Yeah. Sorry, just trying to get it in my mind. But this motor in this cleaner, I've never seen one like it. It's definitely an early style motor because it has 3 distinct tiers to it. I'll pop up a picture so you can see it. So you see there that there's like 3 sections to the fan casing. Normally there was only 2 sections to the fan casing. So this one must be an early version because it's got that extra 3rd tier. Never ever previously seen that on a 65. That was really odd. So what else did I get with it? Well, unlike my last one, I got the original cable. This is the original 60-year-old Flex with it, with a really nice MK plug on the end, which is fantastic, and of course the plug to go into the cleaner. So that's great to have. Right there, it's really quite twisted. That it's not been stored particularly well. Also, I've got the hose. Let's grab the hose a second. So this is the original hose with the ball bearing style machine end fitment. The hose is really stiff. It's amazingly, it's airtight. This woven hose is airtight, but very, very stiff. It hasn't been used for a long time, and it's kind of like you see it just wants to move on its own. But this is the bit which is really interesting, and this is the bit that marks it out as a very, very early cleaner. That is an incredibly small bent end. It is so tiny, so tiny. So the more common one you see, the bent end is probably about that long or so. This is a really early one with this really short, stubby bent end. I'm sort of in two minds as to which is better, or if there is actually no difference. I mean, this is quite. This is probably better for when you're doing like dusting and stuff, or you're doing your stairs or your chairs. The longer one is better if you want to do the car. You can reach further. But yeah, it's amazing that this is still airtight, and it's got its imprinted Lux symbol on the hand grip. I mean, it's amazing. I just cannot remember the last time I saw one of these really early hoses with this little stubby bent end on it. It's amazing. Such a great find. What else did I get? So I got this as well, the original telescopic extension rod, which works perfectly, and it's got a lovely shine to it as well. I hadn't really cleaned this up that much. It was just, yeah, amazing. Just a really good nick, and it all works as well. It's perfect, absolutely perfect. Really, really good. And the final bit is the floor tool. Now this is the other clue that shouts this particular machine out as being an early one. Because as you can see there, this thread catcher side is really narrow. Now on the later ones, the later 65s, and going into the 90 as well, this was much wider. It was probably about that. It was really big, a really wide thread catcher area, but this one is very small. So again, another clue to say this is an original early 65. I've got to say, that head is so heavy. Obviously I can't convey weight to you via the magic of YouTube, but honestly, it is so heavy. You could kill someone with that. It's quite amazing, and it works beautifully as well. It just pops in and out, brushes go up and down, just amazing, absolutely amazing. So I'm really pleased with this for £5. £5. Now I did cannibalise a couple of bits off the other 65. to make this one as good as I could possibly get it. So these chrome strips around the top and the bottom here, they were taken off the original machine, as was the rear filter cover, as were the skids as well, because the skids that were on this machine originally had started to go quite rusty. I don't think it had been stored particularly well. So yeah, we had rusty skids and really rusty chrome. But yeah, it's come up fantastic. And it even has, this was a surprise, it even has the original paper bag holder as well. Unfortunately, it is split, but it holds the bag in fine. It's okay. I'm not gonna lose sleep over that. For what I paid for it, and for as nice as the cleaner is, yeah, fantastic, really great. So there we go. That's the replacement 65. We'll take it into the lounge shortly, give it a run, and then you can hear and see what a 65 should run like, unlike the other machine, which was an absolute, well, I shan't say the word on camera, but I was so disappointed with how that one turned out. It was not great. Now, the other thing that I got, and this is like just a little bonus here for you, is a really strange little Swan toaster. So I'm just going to clear the 65 off the table, and then we'll come back and we'll just take a look at this really funky little 50s toaster. So I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are, up close and personal with the bonus item that I got from the chap who was selling the 65. This appears to be a 1950s Swan 2-slice toaster. So underneath here, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this on the camera. It may come up, it may not. But what it says is Swan brand, catalogue number 950, 230, 250 volts, 500 watts. Shake crumbs out here. It points to this way. I'm not entirely sure how you are meant to shake the crumbs out. I can't see any gap or anything. It's weird. Okay. Maybe it means just shake it out at this point. I don't know. But yeah, so this is really odd. I've never seen one of these, actually. I've never seen a Swan brand toaster that looks like this. I've seen Hot Points, but never a Swan. And this is like the sort of clever way they did it back in the day. There's no like automatic mechanism or anything. You put your slice of bread on there, and then you flick it up, like so. Obviously the machine just runs all the time. It doesn't turn off or anything. It's just on. You would have it on your table and it would be on, just burning away, getting red hot. Like so hot you can't touch it ever. So when one side of your toast is done, you put it down like that. I think it's meant to like flip it over. So the bit that was like against the element would then drop down like that. So you'd have your untoasted side there, and then you'd flick it back up like so. And then when it caught fire, you knew that your toast was done. So then you'd whip it out like that, and whip it off, shut this up, so the children didn't put anything in it, like sticking a knife in there or something. Then you'd scrape all the soot off your toast, and then you'd put some butter on it and eat it. And it does it on both sides. So you've got two sides here, so you could do 2 pieces of toast, one side at a time. The door is slightly misaligned on this side, actually. It doesn't shut particularly well. It kind of gets stuck here at the top, but I'm sure that can be sorted out. It's a really cool little machine. This is so simple. It's just such a simple machine. You know, it's on all the time. There's no switch to it. It's just, it does what it does. You keep your eye on it. If you don't keep your eye on it, your house is going to burn down. It's going to be the end of you, your wife, your 2 children, your dog, everything you work for is just gone. And it just kind of looks like, it doesn't look like it's particularly safe, does it really? These 1950s machines, I've got a wonderful 1950s Belling Fire, which I must show you one day. And it can't. This toaster puts me in mind of that fire where it's just incredibly dangerous, and you would never ever leave the room whilst it's on. So yeah, that's the little toaster itself. It's quite cool. I don't know what I'll do with it, but the most interesting thing I think personally is this plug. Now, I have never ever seen a plug like this. So it says fused 5 amp on the front, and if I turn it around, it has this bizarre arrangement of pins. It's just so strange. Look at that. Look at that. So we've got one massive centre pin here for the earth, and then you've got the live and the neutral. I don't know which is which. It doesn't actually say. What does that say there? It's a Wilex 5 amp fused plug. Non-track. Non-track. I don't know what that means. Now, I'm going to take a guess at what this is and what it was used for. You guys, please tell me if you know. I'm sure there's experts out there on plugs. Yeah, I've never seen one like this before. It's absolutely fascinating. But I think this is a table plug. That's what my guess is. I think that the socket for this would have been built in to the table. So you would have had a aperture in your table which probably would have been covered up with something. So like on your, maybe on your dining table, maybe on your breakfast bar or something like that. I mean, you have to remember it's the 1950s, so it's going to be something weird. And then this plug would have only gone in that socket, and this is the only thing you could have put in that socket. Anything wearing a plug like this is the only thing that would have gone in there. So I reckon it was like maybe an indented socket that you put in. Maybe you could close the flap over it. There was a switch to it, maybe. I really don't know. But that's the only thing I can guess that it would be. And it would have to be a low wattage appliance, because you wouldn't be, I mean, you know, really, you didn't have a huge amount of high wattage appliances in the 1950s. I mean, this little toaster is only, what did I say it was? 500 watts. It's nothing. Absolutely nothing. And the flex is so thin. It's just this tiny, thin, braided flex. But yeah, that's my guess. If you know, please tell us, because it would be fascinating to confirm that. I'm not going to take this plug off because I think that is absolutely amazing. I mean, the toaster is really cool, but this plug is just something else. So yeah, that was the little bonus video. So we have a 65 and a toaster. So yeah, I shall hand you back to me. So that's a little overview of this really funky little toaster. It's really cool. I don't know what I'll do with it, if I'll use it or keep it or whatever. But now we'll go into the lounge, we'll take the 65 in with us, we'll give it a run, and we'll see what a good one should sound like. Thanks ever so much for watching, always appreciate it. Don't forget to comment, subscribe and like, it really helps me out. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, bye.